Hello everybody, this is Mr. Kimmel with another screencast for Life Science. In this lesson, we are going to learn how and why organisms are classified. Around you, notice how objects are organized in your home, at school, everywhere. The silverware drawer is organized by the types of utensils. Your socks might be organized by style or color. Books, movies, and games are often organized by genre or title. Everywhere you look, things are organized or classified. Just like we like to organize the objects around us, scientists classify organisms into groups based on similarities and differences. Here are several species of wild cats. They are all cats, so they are similar in that regard, but their differences are what make them different species of cats. One of the first known people to begin classifying organisms was a man named Aristotle, who lived in ancient Greece from 384 to 322 BC. He classified organisms as plants or animals. Much later in the 1700s, a Swedish naturalist named Carolus Linnaeus began classifying organisms by their form and structure, or how they look. The largest classification level is called domain. There are three domains: archaea, bacteria, and eukarya. Archaea and bacteria are prokaryotic cells, meaning they have no nucleus or organelles. Archaea is the most primitive and mostly live in extreme environments like hot springs. Bacteria are the prokaryotes that live where the plant. They are the bacteria that live in your gut and in ponds. Eukarya are the plants, animals, protists, and fungi. They all have organelles in their cells. Taxonomy is the science of describing, naming, and classifying organisms. Organisms are grouped or classified into one of the 6 kingdoms: archaea, bacteria, protists, fungi, plants, and animals. We will learn more about each kingdom later. There are many levels of classification, and the largest is the kingdom, of which there are 6 that we just mentioned. Organisms in kingdoms are then organized into smaller levels as shown here. Kingdoms are made of different phyla. A phylum is made up of classes. A class is made up of orders. An order is made up of families. A family is made up of different genus. A genus is made up of different species. So from largest to smallest, they are kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Can you go the other way? Groups of species that are related from a genus, groups of genre, form a family. Groups of families form an order. Orders form classes. Classes form phyla. And phyla form kingdoms. Once you get down to the species level of classification, you are talking about a single group of organisms. Linnaeus came up with a system of naming organisms called binomial nomenclature, which means 2-word naming system. Each organism belongs to a species, which has a name or a scientific name. The first word is the genus, and the second word is the specific epithet or species identifier. The name must be written in italics or underlined. These names usually come from Latin roots, and they help scientists across the world communicate about the same organisms, even though they speak different languages. Here's an example of how an organism is classified. This chart shows how the grizzly bear is classified. as well as some organisms that are in the same level as it. We're going to start at the bottom, at the species level, which is the smallest level. The species, or scientific name of the grizzly bear, is Ursus arctos. So all grizzly bears are scientifically named Ursus arctos. Recall that the first name is the genus and the second name is the specific epithet. This is a term that describes the species. Ursus is the genus name for all bears, and arctos means northern. So its name means northern bear. The grizzly bear is in the genus Ursus, which is the genus for all bears. It is related to polar bears, brown bears, black bears, and other bears. Bears are in the family Ursidae. Order Carnivora, class Mammalia, phylum Chordata, and kingdom Animalia, which means animal kingdom. Notice how the higher up you go on the chart, the more organisms are included in each level. If you discover an organism, you get to name it. However, if it belongs in an already established genus, you can't change that name. But here are some examples of some funny names scientists came up with. There's a beetle called jellybean. Members of its genus include jelly roll, jellyfish, jelly belly, and jelly donut. A fungus was discovered that looked very porous, so they named it after SpongeBob SquarePants. Another beetle is called aggravation, although it's not really an aggravating beetle. A snail found in Fiji is named Bah Humbuggy, after Scrooge from A Christmas Carol. Here is the summary of today's lesson. Make sure you understand and memorize a lot of it. You will need to remember the two people we talked about, how organisms are classified. You need to remember those 6 kingdoms, and how the binomial nomenclature of the naming system works.